In our concerted monitoring of women's human rights, especially over the last decade, the Commission has determined that many of the laws and policies which exist more on paper than in practice, since enforcement is weak, that victims of sexual and other forms of violence continue to face impediments to justice from the first filing of their complaints all throughout. The Commission last year in 2011 described due diligence as a benchmark to rule on situations of violence against women, particularly when perpetrated by private actors. Due diligence means that the state has a positive duty to exercise due diligence to prevent sexual violence, and they also have a duty to properly investigate such violence where it occurs, to prosecute the offenders, and to take effective actions to ensure their sanctions, and finally, to repair or provide adequate, appropriate reparations for the victim with a gender perspective. Indeed, in Peru, where there have been important, significant reforms to criminal laws dealing with sex crimes, a new national plan on gender has been introduced. The recent report prepared by the government for the Universal Periodic Review in 2008 concedes that despite all of these institutional and regulatory reforms, high numbers of complaints of violence continue to be reported. One study, which I noted, reports that rape across the number of agencies which record this in Peru over the last 10 years indicate that an average of 18.8 reports are made a day. This is a high number. And another study, which I think is the greater concern, suggests that even with those high numbers of reports, less than 10% of the reported cases lead to conviction. Finally, in relation to reparations, it's a fundamental principle that any violation of an international obligation which results in harm requires the state to make adequate reparations, as emphasized in Cotton Fields. Restitution is not enough where the violation, as is often the case with sexual violence, signals that there's structural discrimination. Where there's structural discrimination, there must also be rectification. Their reparations must be designed to also change the situation and address the underlying source of discrimination. Those reparations must be designed to bring about change, to tackle structural discrimination, and to give the victim security and justice. And also, there must be adequate mechanisms to facilitate proper implementation and monitoring of programs and policies.